Welcome to From the Basement. Stay a while and listen. Alright, that's enough of that. Sorry for the cheesy intro, I could not resist. Alright, so the point of this video is to go over some of the resources that are available for use for the Game 105 course. In this video, even if you're not taking the course, there's a lot of good stuff here, so hang around. Alright, first things first, let's talk about the two primary tools that are going to be used. The first is Yo-Yo Games GameMaker Studio. This will be the program that you will be spending the majority of the time in. Now, there is a free download available. If you go over here to the download section and check out the links that they have, which there we go, download GameMaker Studio. However, honestly, don't even bother downloading it. The free version is very crippled in terms of the number of resources that you can use. And the real danger with the free version is that it won't stop you from opening up a project that has too many resources. Instead, it will just simply quietly and silently delete the extra resources. So if you go into the lab, spend a bunch of time working on your project, and then bring it home and it open up with the free version, you could lose a lot of work. So don't even bother downloading the free version. Now, that said, I also wouldn't bother buying the professional version for $100. That's overkill. There's nothing in this course that we are going to do that's going to require the $100 version. This is mainly, the main reason you would buy that is for the additional powers it gives you with texture atlasing and for built-in source control, which honestly you can do source control without that built-in thing anyways. So there's not much reason for getting the professional version, like I said, unless you want the texture atlasing or if you want to be doing the export modules. But for the purposes of our class, GameMaker Studio Standard is fine. Now, they do tend to have a lot of sales on Steam. I'm not so sure I would necessarily wait on that very much for the course, but they do tend to have fairly frequent sales on Steam. But still, the $50 version is quite sufficient. This is the tool you'll be spending the most time in. And so if you want to work on this at home, yeah, you pretty much need to fork up the $50 to get the standard edition there. And again, I would get it off of Steam because Steam doesn't constantly pester you to enter in your CD keys. And if you're like me and you're mobile on multiple different computers, it basically removes the download limit on your copy. So I'd really just go get it off of Steam. Don't buy it through their webpage. Okay, so that's GameMaker Studio. We'll be doing a lot of videos on this guy specifically, obviously. The next major tool that you are going to need is the Unity game engine. Now, Unity just released 4.5, and I don't think the computer labs are going to be updated to 4.5 for the summer session. If you need to download the version that's on the computer labs, you will need to go to the download tab, and then there's like this little itty-bitty link down here that says looking for an older version. What you will want is 4.3.4. That is the version that is currently in the computer labs. Now, I have version 4.5, so if you want to use version 4.5, that's fine. Sometimes Unity projects will be backwards compatible, sometimes they won't be backwards compatible. So I am not in a position to check as of the recording of this video. So you exercise some caution. Once I have been able to test one way or the other, I will let you guys know. But the labs, I believe, will have 4.3.4. Like I said, I do have 4.5 on my machines, so if you want to use the version 4.5, that is fine. The free version of Unity is more than what we need for this class. Please do not go out and buy Unity for this class. Not that most of you are going to be running out and spending $1,500 on a piece of software. Yeah, yikes. Thankfully, we don't need the Pro version. Now, we do have the Pro version on the school machines. So you will have access, really about the only access that's going to give you is the the nicer default water instead of the ugly default water. It's about the only difference you're going to really see for this course. But we do have Pro in the labs, and I do have access to be able to grade in Pro through my office, so don't be afraid of using any of the Pro features if you are in the computer labs. Otherwise, don't worry about it. There, by the way, I can tell you, this is for a fact, there is no difficulties or issues taking a project between Pro and Standard. It will not impact your project in any way. In fact, it won't even break it. If you use some Pro-only features, like the Pro-only water at school, and then you bring that over to your home computer, it should still work. The water should still work. So it's pretty flexible on that aspect. So those are the two game engines we'll be using. Some additional tools. One is going to be GIMP. Now, you don't have to use GIMP. GIMP is an image manipulation program. Think Photoshop, Microsoft Paint. For one of the chapters, you will mandatorily have to create your own artwork for the entire chapter. Don't worry, you're not going to be graded on art skill. I have no stones to be throwing in that category. It'll be more of, did you actually create the art, and is it clear enough that I can actually figure out, which end's forward, which end's back? We'll deal with that when we come to that video. So GIMP is what I know. It's free legally, and so this is what I will be using to show in the videos. We have GIMP on the machines in the labs. Feel free to use whichever image program you feel comfortable using. Just keep in mind, I can really only answer questions about GIMP. I definitely can't answer questions about Adobe Photoshop. I know nothing about that program. So, GIMP if you don't have any other preferences in image editing. For sounds, there's a couple of tools. I'm actually going to skip over to this tool right here first. This is BFXR. And by the way, all of these links will be in the links area of the Desire to Learn course. BFXR is a sound effects generator. So as you see here, I've already generated a bunch of them. Or if I want some explosions, laser shots. Ooh, that's a good one. I like that one. Jump. And then there's just lots of options here. I will be having a video focused again on sound production, and we'll go over these options and what this does in much greater detail. Another tool would be this one, abundantmusic.com. This is a procedural song generator. This is all procedurally generated. And again, the video that I'm going to do on sound production will look at these options in more detail. If you don't really feel like making your own music in Computech, well, this is the page we started off on. He produces a considerable amount of music that is free to use as long as you give him credits in your projects. We've got medieval, we've got horror, we've got sci-fi, we've got odd Indian, groovy Indian-inspired piece that apparently isn't playing. It was playing a moment ago, so I'm not entirely sure what happened to my sound on that one, but he's got lots of different musical styles that goes on this site. You can come up here. You can see he's been making this stuff available for quite some time. There's a very large backlog of royalty-free music here. The other thing he does is he has a graph paper generator, and graph paper is all kinds of awesome. So this automatically makes this website like one of the most awesome websites on the internet because it has graph paper generators. Really, it's awesome. It is. In all seriousness, graph paper generator. So if you want, it has all different kinds and styles of graph paper that you can generate. Generates them into a PDF, so you don't have to keep coming back to this website. Check it out. Another good resource, opengameart.org. All of these resources are released under the Creative Commons license, which pretty much makes it, very easy to use for school projects. There's a lot of different resources here. Most of it is focused on 2D type of art, which will work good with GameMaker. There's also quite a bit of music files, so high energy background music, Rainbow Rush, I have no idea what that is. Okay, well there you go. Now the thing to keep in mind with Open Game Art, as opposed to in Computech, which is a professional who just makes his music available royalty free for sort of advertising purposes, if you want him to listen to his stuff, oh I like his stuff, maybe I should have him compose a song. Open Game Art is just anybody can submit anything that they want. So with all these kinds of resources, you do sometimes have to hunt for something that's actually usable. It's free. You get what you pay for. The next resource is Glitch, or at least the art from Glitch. It was a very quirky, and I mean very quirky, web game that ran for about 3 years before they decided to call it quits. But thankfully they called it quits before they ran hopelessly into debt and they were bought out and dissolved by other companies. And so what they did is that they released all of their art assets for free. You can use them in any way that you want. I cannot stress how awesome this is. Specifically, the item on here that you will be interested in is the all sprite sheets, flat images, zip, 372 megabytes. If you have the technical abilities, I suppose you could pull out the image information from the FLAS and SWF files, but that's kind of way beyond what you really need to be doing. The sprite sheets, tons and tons and tons of sprites in there. Food, items, characters, decorations, just tons of stuff in there. So excellent, excellent resource available here. And then the final resource I want to go over is the Unity Terrain Toolkit. This won't come into play until we get to the Unity section, obviously. It's getting a little bit aged. As you can see, it was designed to go with Unity 3.x, and we are now on 4.5. So it's getting old, getting a little creaky, still works great. Download this, and it will help out with your Unity Island project quite a bit. And that would pretty much be it on the resource overview. Again, all of these links will be made available through the Desire to Learn website. And for those of you not taking the course, I'll try to figure out a way of sanely listing all of these links out in some fashion so that you have access to them. And that concludes this video. Until next time.